If only I had spidey senses, so I can tell when something's wrong. Oh, and I'm in search to protect this heart from breaking into pieces. Where's my hammer? Where's the shield? All the strength to carry the weight of the world. Fly high into the sky. I'll catch you if you fall. I'll catch you if you fall. Fly high into the sky. I'll catch you if you fall. I'll catch you if you fall.
So, everybody, how are all of you doing? I know it's been a while, but this is your host with the most, your Snap DJ, and I have just gotten out of seeing Spider-Man. So I gotta say, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was the best Spider-Man movie, I think, so far. That I've seen, even going back to all the other ones. I used to hold the second one, the Tobey Maguire second one, in high regard. That was always the best one for me, the one with Dr. Octopus. But this one, I believe, eclipsed it. This was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Obviously, no spoilers or anything like that. This is just a reaction from me. Directly after seeing it. I'm on my way home now. But man, what an event it was too. Like, in my local theater, I got there, pretty early. And but man, I don't think I've ever seen a theater packed like that in a while. Like, even back to going to see like Avengers films and things like that. I would have to maybe just compare it to Endgame, I think, like, as the most recent one that I've seen with a crowd like that. Man, so many kids wearing Spider-Man masks and costumes, and, even older folks, like in their 20s, like college-age kids and stuff, wearing Spider-Man hoodies, and it was awesome. Really cool to see. And you know me, I being a bigger comic book fan and stuff like that, I always was a Spider-Man fan. I had my 1977 Spider-Man t-shirt on, but yeah, just like I haven't seen this kind of excitement in a theater in quite a long time, and man, it was so cool to see the crowds like packed in there. Even when I got there, I went to the 7:00 show. And even when I got there, early as I did, there were a lot of shows that were going on from this afternoon, and the parking lot in the theater was packed. Hardly any spaces to be found, and so many people there, kids, parents alike, and it was just really awesome to see. I absolutely loved seeing it. It was truly awesome. And and the movie, just like I said, from start to finish, Daniel Destin Cretton did an amazing job directing this film, and it was just, the action scenes were amazing. Obviously, Tom Holland, Zendaya, the whole crew. John Barenthal kind of really stole the show, I think. His character was almost kind of, like, oddly enough, it was almost kind of like comic relief in a way, for being the Punisher, which I wouldn't have kind of thought at the start. I wouldn't have kind of thought that it was going to be that character that would be in that role, but he kind of was, and it was really good. Like, the relationship between him and Peter was kind of like the older, the mentor mentee kind of a thing, but he was also just he was like that kind of like that crotchety older guy who didn't want to be bothered with this young kid, and stuff. And so it was really, really cool. Jean DeWolf was in it from the comics, which was awesome that they cast her in there. Definitely, I mean, a lot of things that could happen with the future of her character, because she had some really, really good stories in the comic book. Of course, she has a tragic death in the comics at some point. So I don't know. We may see them explore that, but she was like the friend of Spider-Man with the police, kind of similar to like the Commissioner Gordon role in Batman films. Kind of having the police on his side there, and then of course the villain in the movie, of course, was a complete secret. Will not spoil it. No spoilers here. But the villain was kept a complete secret in it. And when you find out who the villain is, it's going to be very cool if you didn't already spoil it for yourself. Of course, Mark Ruffalo's Hulk is in there, as you all I'm sure have seen in the ads. And you probably all know that Mark Ruffalo is in there. And that was awesome. The sequences between, there's a really, really cool conversation between Peter and him when they first meet, of course, and he doesn't know who Peter Parker is, probably to do with the spell that was cast with Doctor Strange in the last one, that, just no one knows who he is, no one remembers who he is, and that certainly stuck with Mark Ruffalo. He, with his Bruce Banner, he did not know who Peter was. But great action sequences, and again, no spoiler that the OG Hulk, so Savage Hulk, returns in the movie, and that was very cool to see. We have not seen him in a while. Of course, since the OG Avengers movie was the last time we really got to see him, and then of course Ragnarok as well. He was in that also, so it was kind of cool to see the Savage Hulk come back. And then, of course, Zendaya's character, and of course, MJ and Ned are in this as well. But again, neither one of them remember Peter, and it does take place right after the last one, where he's doing just a lot of being Spider-Man and doing Spider-Man things, and a lot of nods to the comics at the very beginning. They do a similar thing. If you guys have all seen the Fantastic Four, they do a very similar thing to the montage at the beginning of Fantastic Four. And I think that Marvel is probably going to be doing this now for a while, where they're going to be doing like these. They might, instead of doing like reiterations, right? Like, with I joked around with the whole Uncle Ben thing, like how many times do we have to see Uncle Ben die? And I think due to that, I think Marvel might end up doing things like this for movies going forward, where we all know the origin of Fantastic Four. We've seen it a bazillion times. We've seen it in other movies and stuff. So I think instead of doing all that, that they're gonna have these little recaps where they're just going to show you, quick glimpses of what the characters have been up to since the last time we saw them. And it's been 5 years since the last Spider-Man movie, so it's been a while. And so they're gonna kind of go, and obviously the characters have they've aged, right? Because you can't really just say, well, this picks up right after, because the characters look older. So you kind of have to do that. You have to recap, like, all right, well, here's what's been going on with the characters since we've last seen them. And so I'm good with that. We don't necessarily need to see. Spider-Man has so many villains in the comics that you don't really need to see like all these villain fights necessarily. like he had with some of the villains that were shown, already shown in the previews for the film, like Tarantula and just these other scenes that were all kind of really cool nods to the comics. But you're probably not going to see those villains be main characters in a Spider-Man film. He's just got too many big villains that he can fight against, that could really be in a film, like we saw with Mysterio, and obviously like we saw with Vulture in the first one. He's got some really, really big name villains that can hang with him for an entire movie, and yet has a rogues gallery of so many that he's fought over the years, that have come back from time to time, but are really not the ones that you're going to want to have carry a story. And I apologize if my voice is hoarse, but I was kind of cheering a lot in the theater, so might lose my voice a little bit here. I apologize for that. But yeah, it was really, really good. And again, without getting into a lot of the story and the plot, which I'm not going to do here, but like I said, the cast was incredible. Each one of them really, really doing a great job. Zendaya, of course, as MJ was great. The actor who plays Ned, I forget his name, but off the top of my head, but he's just really always great in that role. He's kind of like the comic relief a little bit, but again, played a very, very great part in it. Scorpion was in it a lot. Michael Mando, who came back as Scorpion from the first Spider-Man film. Obviously, we saw him in that. I saw him in the post-credit scene when you saw the post-credits with Michael Keaton when he was in jail, and they kind of pass each other in the hallway in jail. So that was kind of cool. You saw him come back as well, and he was in it. He was in it a lot more than the only one that he wasn't in. That was in it more than he was the main villain of the film. So it was cool seeing him again. And we got to see some other small role villain parts. There was one that was not shown in any of the trailers yet. So there's a little bit of a nice surprise with that one, which could be a future villain that we might see a lot more of in the films. He could be brought back for the next Spider-Man movie. We'll see. And of course, a pretty nice tribute, of course, to his Aunt May, and of course how she passed away in the last one. So there's a lot of that stuff going on, but really it's just Peter being the what was promised to us at the end of the last film, where everybody forgot him, and he went and he bought that apartment, he got that place for himself, and so we all knew that he was going to be, that he was going to basically just confine himself to be Spider-Man. And it's exactly how the movie opens up. He is just doing Spider-Man. He is just being Spider-Man things. Peter Parker is no more. And, nobody really knows who Peter Parker is. So he's just going around doing the thing and being Spider-Man. The only thing that I really was hoping that they would do was have him become Peter Parker, the Daily Bugle worker. I really wanted to see that. I was kind of hoping we would see that in the film, but unfortunately that is not there. So I really hope, I was really glad to see Jean DeWolf in there, but I really hope that in the next one, that gets explored, and I hope that Peter ends up getting the job there and going that route with the Daily Bugle, and that could even lead him to meeting. If they're not going to go, and again, if they're not going to go with the MJ way, he's got other women that he had in his life in the comics. Of course, Gwen Stacy. Of course, he had Liz. In his life, and I forget, Betty Brant. Betty Brant was also in Peter's life, and he met her through the Daily Bugle job. So there's a lot of different ways they could go with that. So I'm really kind of hoping that Peter does end up in the Daily Bugle at some point going forward. And, I'm sure that, I know Tom Holland's getting a little bit older. And who knows, he's already kind of alluding to saying he wants to start mentoring he really wants to be involved in mentoring the next group of people, like the next group of actors. So the next Spider-Man, which I'm assuming will be Miles, since that was already, in interviews with Amy Pascal, who's in charge of Sony, and of course Kevin Feige, were doing interviews for this film. And, both of them had already said they've got plans for Miles. So I'm not too sure how many more of these films that Tom will do before he does turn the reins over to Miles and whoever the actor will be that will play Miles Morales and Spider-Man next. So, it could very well be that maybe Tom will only do another couple of these films. He's already up to his fourth one. So maybe he'll only do maybe one or two more. Plus, of course, the Avengers. We know, well, at least we've heard he's not going to be in Doomsday. So probably won't be in that one. But I'm sure that we will see him in Secret War. I'm sure of that, because he plays a huge part in Secret War. And if you've read the comics of Secret War, you know what comes next for Spider-Man after Secret War. And if you haven't read the comics, well, where Spider-Man got his black suit was in the comics, in the original Secret War that came out in the 80s. So if they want to go that route with Tom, and if they want to pursue a Venom character, and they want to have Venom come back and be in the MCU and be in a Spider-Man film with Tom Holland, obviously Tom Hardy is done with it, so they would have to have a different character. And I sure as heck hope if they decide to do that, they would bring, and I think if they don't, it's a missed opportunity to, have Tom get that black suit, get that symbiote in Secret War somehow, and then have him come back with that suit, and then develop the Eddie Brock character again, have him played by a different actor. And obviously you could have that could be, a perfect thing for Peter to have the job at the Bugle, because obviously Eddie Brock meets him Eddie Brock is a news reporter. Gene DeWolf is also a little bit involved in that, so that would definitely make a lot of sense if they're gonna do that next. So we'll have to see. So maybe that's where, and then you obviously have Mr. Fantastic. It also, when Peter finds out that the costume is a symbiote, initially he goes to Reed Richards, and Reed Richards uses sonics to get the costume off of Peter and disengage him from the symbiote. So again, you will have Mr. Fantastic and the Fantastic Four, in the Marvel Universe then, where Peter is. So again, perfect way to bring that into the story and bring all that together in the next Spider-Man film, if that's indeed what they want to do. And it's going to follow up after Secret Wars, which I'm sure it will. So yeah, it would all be coming together for that if they want to do that. And that was certainly a huge story in Spider-Man. So I don't see why not. Like, if they want to do a proper Venom in the MCU, I wouldn't see why they wouldn't take this chance to do that. So yeah, man. Look, I'm not gonna go into too much more of it. All I'm gonna say is I highly, highly, highly recommend that you go out and see it. This is a 10 out of 10 for me. I am gonna go see it again, probably multiple times. It is that good. And yes, don't be afraid of the length. It is long. It is 2 hours. And I think 2.5 might be more than that. But you don't even notice it. Trust me. Now I had a little bit of a hard time not having to take a bathroom break. I will say that. So, just be careful that you don't drink a whole lot of stuff during the film. You're not going to want to miss any of it. So, just maybe take small sips of your drink, and don't miss any of it, because you're not going to want to miss a scene in this film I did not. I made it through the whole thing, and then once I did get to the men's room, it was it was long. So just like the movie, but oh man, this is what makes me so happy to be a Marvel fan. This is what makes me so happy to be a comic book fan. This is what makes me so happy to do the podcast for you guys, and to do the Snap Pod, and to play Marvel Snap, and all that stuff just gets reignited when I get to go and see a movie like this, and to really, really enjoy it, which I did, man. And this takes me back to being when I was a young man, when I was a kid. Like I said, when I see all those kids in there tonight, like I did, and all those young people wearing Spider-Man jackets and hoodies and Spider-Man masks and stuff like that, man, it really brings me back to when I was that young boy. And again, that's why I wore the shirt today that I had on from the Spider-Man TV series back when I was like a 6 or 7 year old kid, watching this on TV and watching that first iteration of a live action Spider-Man that I ever got to see on TV is just an awesome feeling. And like I said, you guys all know I'm a guy in my mid 50s, starting to get into my late 50s, and I just nerd out to this stuff, and I truly love it. And I hope all of you guys see that and realize that and stuff. And again, I am so sorry that I've been late with the podcast lately. I really am. But I really appreciate all of you listening. I truly do. I'm so grateful every single day for the fact that I have you guys all listening to my show, and over the years sticking with it, and really doing that. It really allows me to live out more than one dream, and that is, being able to talk about this, being able to talk about Marvel stuff, being able to talk about comic books, being able to talk about movies, and also, of course, being able to talk about, the game that I love that has all of that stuff and that lore and everything like that in it too. So, yeah, guys, listen, go see Spider-Man. I'm going to get the other pod out tomorrow. It's a little late now. I was really going to try to do it tonight after I got home, but, it's getting to be close to 11 o'clock on the East Coast. And by the way, my voice is shot, so I really don't think I'm going to be able to talk for another couple of hours on the pod tonight. But I definitely will get it out for you tomorrow. No doubt about it. I will be going over the newest card, which is Sinister Six. I'm excited to talk about Sinister Six. I love all those villains. And get to talk about the card, get to talk about the end of the Spider-Man season. So obviously in Comics Corner, it'll be Sinister Six, it'll be Tombstone that we will discuss. And I know I'm missing one other one too from last week as well that we'll talk. Oh, Scorpion, Tombstone, Sinister Six. We'll do all of them in Comics Corner tomorrow. We'll talk all about Marvel Snap and my week thereof. And probably end up talking a little bit about the film in of course, Minute at the Movies, and all the other stuff that Marvel has going on, including the amazing Doomsday trailer and the amazing trailer that they showed at Comic-Con. Wow. And that, that's just a few short months away, guys. That's just a few short months away. It is already July, August, September, October, November, 4 months away we are from Doomsday. So, and I'll talk more about other things in the movies as well. Clayface, which I saw the trailer tonight on the big screen, but I also saw that. That's been shown already. Oh, looks awesome. Can't wait to see that movie. The body horror stuff, oh my gosh, creeps me out. But again, looks tremendous. Looks so good that I can't wait to go see that. I've not seen Supergirl yet. I will see that when it comes out in streaming. So again, just another one that I'm excited to see that I have not seen. I know Mando and Grogu will be coming on streaming pretty soon. But yes, I'll talk about a lot of that in Minute at the Movies. And then we'll go over some video game stuff, of course, as well. And talk all about Marvel Snap tomorrow. But Guys, thank you again so much for being patient. For those of you who asked, my dog is feeling better. Thank you so much. It was very scary. We had a lot of nervous times, but she's getting a little older now. So, and she had a really bad panic attack that was caused by unfortunately I was at work. My wife was away, and they had a fireworks display, which I had no idea that they were going to do, or I would have called off of work. But I had no idea that was happening in the town, and she is really, really bad with the loud noises and stuff now. And when I came home, she was just very, very sick. My wife luckily came home early from her vacation because of it when I called her. But she is doing better. So thank you all of those who have asked me about that. We were very, very scared for a little while. I can remember when she wasn't feeling well. I was lying on the floor with her, and I was tearing up because I really didn't know. I was afraid to go to bed. She wouldn't come up from downstairs like she normally does. And I was very, very afraid to go to bed that night because I really didn't know if she was going to wake up the next morning. So I'm getting choked up. But anyway, thank you all for asking about her. And that was a big reason why I didn't have the podcast come out. And also other things too. I've had a lot of stuff going on with jobs and things like that. And it's been very unsettled, unfortunately, in my personal life lately. But again, the one thing that I can come back to is obviously my family, my dog, and of course you guys. Because although I don't know a lot of you personally, or really any of you personally, but I want you to know that you all are very special to me. You really mean a lot to me, and I wanted you all to know that spending this little bit of time with me, whether you listen to the whole show, I know it's long sometimes, or whether you just listen to parts of it, whatever. I just want you to know that it does mean a lot to me, and it is very, very special to me. So thank you all for listening. Go see Spider-Man as soon as you can, because, man, it was just so good. Enjoy it. Let me know what your thoughts on it are. Let me know how you feel about it. It is an absolute 10 out of 10 for me. I'm going to go see it again. And I absolutely loved it. It was the best superhero film that I've seen in a long time. Go see it. And let me know what you guys think. I can't wait to hear from you. Let me know on the Twitter. Let me know on Discord if you get over there. Let me know wherever it is. Leave me your thoughts in the comments below this if you want to, or below the podcast as well. And I will talk to you guys all on the next episode of Snap Decisions, which will definitely be tomorrow. Have a great one, guys. And if I don't talk to you, please stay safe. Be kind to one another always. Enjoy the film if you go see it. And hopefully I will talk to you all on the next episode of Snap Decisions. This is your Snap DJ coming off a Spider-Man high. Signing off.